Ever since Pokemon Scarlet and Violet came out, I've played a lot. Like, maybe too much. But they're such great games. The first open world Pokemon games, and there's literally stuff to do every day. I don't get bored playing it. In my last video, I stated how I beat the game 4 times, and I've completed the Pokédex 4 times. But I finally totaled up the total amount of hours that I've played the games, and it came out to 521 hours. Today we're going to go over what I've accomplished in that 521 hours in the games. As you can see in my main Violet profile here, I've played 259, almost 260 hours. This is the one that I consider my main, most important one. It's where I do everything first. It's also where I've been building my competitive teams. The first thing I do after actually beating the game is finish completing the Pokédex. Now I'm meticulous, and during the playthrough, I catch a lot of Pokemon, so I don't have to do it later. But every once in a while, there's a few you miss, and then you have to evolve Pawmo into Pawmot and Reller into Rapska by walking around with them in Let's Go mode 1000 steps. So I do all that, and then I finally get to the point where I have every Pokemon that I could possibly have in this version of the game. Then I check out the version exclusives. I catch all of the version exclusives, put them in a box, and get ready to go to the Poke Portal and trade with the person that has the other version of the game. Immediately after completing the Pokédex, I start doing raid after raid after raid after raid because I need a ton of experience candy. One of my favorite things to do in the game is build raid Pokemon. In each of my save files, I have a raid Pokemon box, and I have spent the time, and in my main Violet save file here, I've gotten most of them shiny. Most of the raid Pokemon are shiny, and it took some time using the day switching method and eventually going in and getting the Paradox Pokemon, but I used them so much, it just kind of felt good, and like I kind of completed it by getting all of them shiny. All of them are maxed out with either HP or attack or special attack because that's what's best for raids. And whenever a 6-star raid comes up and I need to go at it with certain Pokemon, I have them ready. Every morning I log in with all 4 save files, all 4 accounts, and I do the 6-star raid. And throughout the day, sometimes I'll do the Terra raid battles in the Poke Portal too. But I want to have basically any Pokemon needed necessary to do raids because it's one of my favorite things to do in the game. One of the other major things I've accomplished, and I mentioned this in a previous video, is I got all of the unrivaled Pokemon shiny. I did that through breeding, and it was one of the most miserable things I've ever done. It took me between 45 and 50 hours and over 2,000 eggs, but I finally got shiny Charizard, shiny Cinderace, and shiny Greninja. And this week, I'll also be going after shiny Pikachu because I want to have all of the unrivaled 7-star raid Pokemon shiny. Also, in Violet and Scarlet, I've gotten all the Paradox Pokemon shiny from each version. That took me a while as well, especially shiny Roaring Moon, who only spawns in one place. That took me like 8 to 9 hours. In my second playthrough, which is my main Scarlet playthrough, I have not played nearly as much. As you can see, only 103 hours. But I completed the Pokédex, and as I have in all of the other save files, I build a box of raid Pokemon. I need to add the depth to this raid Pokemon box. It doesn't have a lot, and there's a few I need to add, so I'm going to take the time to do that. But this is what I've done in my first Scarlet playthrough. In my second Violet playthrough, I played for 89 hours. Completed the Pokédex, and to keep it short, do the same thing I do in all the other save files. Create a box of raid Pokemon, and I'll eventually add to this and make it deeper as well. And in my second Scarlet playthrough, the one I completed just last week, I played for 69 hours, and as always, built a box of raid Pokemon, which I will consistently add to in the future. And the last thing I started to do is build a competitive Pokemon team. I want to get into the competitive scene again, even though it can be massively frustrating, but this is the most fun I've ever had in competitive, specifically because of terrestrialization. You can change your Pokemon's Terra types. Your opponent doesn't know what Terra type you can change into. It makes the battles so much more unique and fun, and I'm enjoying it very much so far. So, to sum it up, I've played for 521 hours as stated. That's 21.7 days since release. That's a lot of time, but I'm absolutely loving it. In the comment section below, why don't you guys leave a comment on how much and how long you've played? And also, don't forget to subscribe to see more Pokemon videos like this.